the majority of literature on anti-Semitism tends to describe an ongoing process, perhaps a kind of crescendo. From the beginning of the 19th century, anti-Semitism begins to be ever more virulent and violent until we end up with Nazism. And somehow the late 19th century is a kind of a high point in this process. I tend to see the 19th century as a period of success and achievement for Jews. And I consider the turn into Nazism to be a sort of a break in a process. Therefore, it seemed to me always to be a problem why in the late 19th century, when Jewish integration was at its height in Germany, we get such much present and strongly sensed anti-Semitism in German society. And you have to remember the political parties that considered themselves to be anti-Semitic were actually very small, and their influence was little. And even when they got into the Reichstag, into the parliament of the German Empire, they had very little achievements there and very little effect. And so in this formal matter, you don't have a lot of anti-Semitism in late 19th century. It's not like it's a real strong power at that time. So the question was, why did it play, in spite of all this, such a noticeable role in social life at this period? And I've suggested in the past, and I still think it's probably has some relevance, that anti-Semitism was a kind of a signal for those who belonged to the cultural sphere of the right, if you can call it that, in German society. That is, if you were anti-Semitic, one could immediately imagine what else you are: a monarchist, an anti-democrat, an imperialist, and so on. And also in cultural matter, one could identify you as someone who is anti-modern, as somebody who is basically conservative but has also a radical element in it, an anti-present element in it. So it's more a kind of a signal for an overall cultural position. And this is why even Jews could sometimes express anti-Jewish positions and very definite criticism of Judaism and Jews in Germany, because they also needed to identify themselves with this sort of cultural environment and milieu.